Suzanna and Cortney, and we are talking about how to own your habits, to own your life holistically today. And without further ado, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you help people?
My name is Suzanna Dreifelds, and my background is in communication and mindset.
Hi, I'm Courtney Dreifelds, and I've been a health coach and a biomechanics specialist.
So we are founders and wives of our business, Peak Performance Coaching. And what we do is we really help our clients thrive by connecting to themselves, connecting to others. And what that does is free them up to take on whatever it is that they're creating for themselves. But any life's big challenges, really.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
what we find is when people are, connected with their body and their gifts and other people, is that they can really, really practice their craft and their gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So I just want to share, we met, Susanna was one of the people first guests on the Own It show almost 3 years ago, which is amazing to have you guys back. This is so much fun. We met in Thinking into Results in Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher's program, studying with Danielle Amos. And it's such a gift to meet people who are conscious, kind, holistic, here to create life by design and also leave a positive impact. So I'm grateful for who you guys are in this world and what you're up to. And I'm really excited to share about your entrepreneur journey and your zone of genius for people today so they can truly own it. So let's talk about that entrepreneur journey. We all know it is a journey. That's why I call it a journey.
It's a ride.
Well,
It's a ride.
thank you also so much for that intro, Heather. So nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. So I've been an entrepreneur going over 11 years now. And I know it really is a journey. This is like the fifth evolution of my business, and I absolutely love it. And I know it's been a ride. So, like, what did it look like for you guys when you started? What were some of the things you overcame? And where are you now?
Yeah, well, our entire company was kind of born out of COVID. We had just bought a new house in a completely new city, and COVID hit, and our biggest contracts were canceled. And we thought, okay, how do I take my background in communication and your background in health and put it together so that we can deliver something good during this really, strenuous time for people where everybody was, in lockdown and felt like they couldn't do anything. And we felt really fortunate that, we were in programs like Thinking in Results, or just in communities that were more focused on like, what can we do at this time? And so it really kind of developed from chaos and grew into the company that it is today. And yeah, I mean, it has its ups and downs for sure, but it's all about, really being able to serve people and to be able to move past, whatever's happening in our own lives, to be able to give to other people.
When we originally started it, I was feeling like this would be another service that I would provide and another business. And what ended up happening is it really changed my life. It had me feel like, things were bearable around COVID, and it brought us together. So
I love it. And I would just want to note, I had a similar opportunity. The business that I was currently running was no longer going to be in alignment with what things were set out. And I had an opportunity there, right? Everyone has an opportunity to choose the positive or the negative, to sink into the fear, worry, and doubt, or to propel into possibility and hope and our dreams. And you guys literally created something from nothing. And that's what entrepreneurs get to do. We get to do that. That's so amazing. We have an opportunity to take an idea and turn it into a service that not only changes our lives because it's what we love, but to be able to give back to support others. And through this time, many people folded in fear, and many of us stepped into the light to be the leaders. So thank you so much for doing so, and for owning that journey, for going into it and staying on it. And because you have, so many people's lives have been positively impacted.
Oh, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. And I would just also add, for the entrepreneurs that are watching or people that are thinking about jumping into entrepreneurship, we had no idea how, we didn't know how this was all going to pan out. So if that's something that's there for you, just keep moving forward, keep trying it, testing it out. You'll find your path.
Yeah, have a vision, put one foot in front of the other, pivot when you need to, make sure the pivots are in alignment with the long-term vision, and just put the blinders on to all the negative circumstances and
Yeah.
just keep moving forward.
And
Mhm.
Heather, I love what you stand for as like holistic habits, because I feel like without those habits, then it doesn't set us up for success. And I feel like we really need a community and a coach to bring us through not those good times, but the challenging times and the hard times where we're like, what next?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we actually studied with Kelly Roach Coaching together as well, where,
Yeah.
which is amazing. It's been quite a journey. We all did.
Mentorship buddies.
Yeah, we are mentorship buddies. Absolutely. All successful entrepreneurs and all successful coaches. We all have coaches. I just wanted to point out we've studied in two of the same programs together, maybe even more. And
Yeah.
we didn't do it alone. No
Mhm.
successful entrepreneur did it alone. So lock arms with your partners, lock arms with your mentors, lock arms with people who are like-minded and willing to do what it takes. Only 10% are willing to do what it takes to be entrepreneurs, to have the long-term vision, to see down the road and around the corner. Instead of just their next paycheck. And there's no make wrong. I'm just saying it requires vision, and only 10% are willing to do it. So just own your vision, what sets your soul on fire, and just lean into it. It's going to be messy, it's going to be chaotic, and that's part of the journey. And only diamonds are grown through that pain, right? They get crushed.
Yes.
And so we have to go through the changes and the turmoil to truly grow and develop ourselves and our businesses. And that's part of the journey. And the positive mindset is what helps us stay on it. And that's what we're going to really talk about with your guys' tips in your zone of genius today. Your three pillars: mind, body, and heart. And so I will let you take it away. Let's talk about the mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you nailed it, Heather, when you said it starts with a vision, and that's such an important aspect, is really focusing on, what is it that you want, what would light your heart up, and really fulfill the needs that you have within you. And part of what we do is we help people regulate their thoughts, because when you're taking on this journey, you can have so much fear and so much doubt and so much worry, and it can just creep in, and it can completely take over your life. And they're very real and very natural experiences to have. And if you can learn strategies to be able to focus and to be able to use your not just your mind, but also use your body, which we'll talk about next. But really, like you said, it starts with the vision, and then it starts with looking at it as, what is it that I need, what would really light me up inside, and what are the thoughts that I could think that would propel me forward, that would really move me into action, and just lighting up your imagination so that it's like a done deal, so that you just see it happening. And then also, just like you said earlier, Heather, just like blocking out, anybody that's not in alignment with you. You can still love them, you can still appreciate them. They're, at the heart of it, I think they're just projecting their fear onto you. But just keeping that laser focus, so that you need, so that your message and your gifts get to be shown.
Yeah. And then next, when we're looking at the body, there's so many pressures and expectations to eat a certain diet or look a certain way. And all the while is that actually causes a tremendous amount of stress and disconnect with our bodies. And, technologically, we are more connected than ever before. And we have more medical support and more health and wellness support than ever before in history. And yet we have an increasing amount of people feeling, not just disconnected, but feeling like depressed and alone. And especially disconnected with their own body. Like, I've had those experiences where I've had a cold and I'm terrified to go grocery shopping because of, what people are going to think around me coughing in public. So I think that there's a lot of expectations for us to be healthy, well, and pain free. And, when we lose that connection with our body, we really can't express our gifts and be who we really are, with that pain that's lingering behind us, whether it's physical pain or whether it's like that internal, emotional, like deep rooted heartache pain.
Absolutely. And if we think about the mind and the body, they're connected. So let's talk about the study of epigenetics, the biology of belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. It is a proven science. It took him 20 years, but we know every single thought has a physiological response. If anyone's read the books by Louise Hay, I Can Do It, You Can Change Your Life, You Can Heal Your Body, they're literally giving you what is the physical pain, what was the blockage, the emotional blockage that has that get triggered, and here's a great affirmation to help you change it. So if we understand the mind, 98% of our thoughts, feelings, and actions are habitual. They're based off of our programming. And so your thoughts are habits. We keep thinking the same thoughts, and for some reason we think we'll get a different result. And those thoughts are impacting the body. They're causing the stress, right? Like if we're worried about what other people are thinking, or we're in chronic pain, then we're having stress on the body. And the body is our vehicle through life, and it has a max tolerance threat load. And our thoughts, they add threat if they're negative. What we do with our body, how we fuel our body, who we surround ourselves with, that adds negative or positive. And we want to look at that cumulative effect. And that's going to have you either functioning optimally, or it's going to have you in burnout. And we have an opportunity to decide to choose positive and to make the change, but nobody does it alone, right? Read the good books, the Slate Edge, the Atomic Habits, the Louise Hay books, the Biology of Belief. If you don't want to get a mentor, find a great book. 10, 15 pages a day could change your life. And these are habits, right? Our thought habit, whether we're choosing a positive thought or a negative thought, how we're treating our body, what food we're fueling it with. This is our vehicle through life. And if we aren't comfortable and happy in the vehicle, everything else is impacted. And that's why I love yoga, because it brings the breath, the mind, and the body together. It actually has you use your breath, silence your mind, and get into your body and get in tune with your body instead of out of the thoughts, that river of thoughts that's on autopilot running through your mind. And when we can really truly take that full holistic approach, mind, body, soul, and soul and spirit really go with heart, with what you guys, your third key there, which is so important. That when we can treat ourselves holistically and treat ourselves like a whole, that's when we get to own our lives and change our habits. So
I love that. I love that you grounded it in science, because so often we hear these things, mind, body, universe, spirit, and we think it's all woo-woo. But really there's so much science that backs all of these actions that we can take towards stepping into who we really are. And I also love that you said it's our vehicle. And if we treat our bodies like a vehicle, we can really step into who we really are.
Yeah, absolutely. You change the oil in your car, you've got to fuel this one too.
Yeah. And your body is the first, receives like the first blow to whatever thoughts you're thinking. So if you have that harsh and critical, you're going to feel that in your body. You're going to carry that stress with you. And likewise, if it's loving and kind, you're going to feel good. And you can also use your body to shift the way that you're thinking. Just like you said with yoga, we love to get our clients into their bodies before they get into their thinking. We're both, athletes, and we found, some of our greatest moments of aha or awareness is when we're standing at the top of the mountain with our skis and our snowboard, and we're like, oh man, like let's get ready for this ride.
And we usually plan our meetings when we go for a dog walk.
Yeah. It's just
Exactly. I love it.
that you mentioned the heart and how that all plays into it. And when when we think about the heart, we look at our needs. And most of us are not taught to identify our needs, to express our needs, or sometimes even to have needs. And
Or
we
even be
look
aware
at this,
of them.
pardon me?
Even be aware of them. I think a lot of people don't pause and ask, what do I need today?
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
and when our needs are not met, the symptoms are, loneliness, anxiety, depression. You don't feel like you're moving forward in your business. You can't even see the good that you're doing. And on the flip side, when your needs are met, you feel alive and you're able to express yourself and you're able to step forward into what you're taking on, especially if it's a new business or you're going to that next level of business. And so when you're able to start paying attention to your needs and then being able to express them, like once you got them, that's great. The second step is being able to express, like, what what is something that you need that isn't being fulfilled. When you're actually able to express that to another person, whether it's a business partner or an employee, it's actually like a gift that you're giving them, because you're saying, hey, this is coming from my heart to your heart, as far as what I need for us to be able to succeed so that we can all move forward. And it takes the guesswork out of it. It really, like, if you're able to articulate what you need in a way that is authentic and genuine, and it lands for the other person, and they're like, no problem, let's do this. Your needs get met, their needs get met, you feel good about it. It's like a beautiful communication superpower.
I love it. And for so many of us, you're like, oh, communication, but most of us don't communicate. So let's pause and just actually reevaluate that. How many times did you get mad at a partner because they didn't do what you wanted, but did you communicate it effectively? And if
Yeah.
you're working with the team, I highly recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People. Really great book. It's about how to communicate so that it lands for the other person, so that it creates workability and not make wrong. So when we make someone bad and wrong, we don't leave them with an impression of increase. We leave them feeling not good. And then do you
Mhm.
think they're inclined to get into the activities that you've requested? Not likely, right? Or maybe they
Mhm.
do it begrudgingly, and that's not great either. So not only knowing what you need, being able to communicate it, but to communicate it so that a way that it lands heart-centered for you and the other person, to create that workability in a relationship, within the company, within the business. That's when we can grow as one. And that's
Mhm.
really how relationships grow, businesses grow. Nobody does it alone. And
Yeah.
that communication from a heart-centered perspective is essential for that positive growth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it takes something. It really takes, having the courage to be able to, observe what you're feeling without that judgment, and then being able to express it authentically and genuinely, and then having it land, as we mentioned before. So,
Mhm.
if we're not taught how to even identify our needs, and then, we're kind of fumbling at expressing it, and you're working with a team of people and you can't understand why they're on board. I mean, let's face it, like, as we grow, we need to be able to fit that communication piece. Like, it matters. And part of it is, like, who doesn't need more empathy and compassion and loving conversations? Because, anybody watching this, anybody attracted, to you, Heather, and to our programs, like, we're not in it just for us. Like, we're in it for everybody. Like, we want to make a difference. And if you want to
Mhm.
make a difference out there, you've got to learn how to express that in a way that, that lands and feels good to people. Because, people have great BS detectors. They know, they can sniff you out in a second. So the more that you can just express yourself from that beautiful, authentic place, like, it just helps everybody. It creates
Mhm.
space for your teammates to show up in new ways, for your teammates to then be able to
Mhm.
express their needs, their wants, their desires. And when you have that communication, like, you're going to watch your results just skyrocket.
And when you create that safe space of communication, yeah, that open, safe space of communication. I used to study at Landmark Worldwide, super fun training. And you do, of course you did, of course. And they used to call it enrolling people. So you would enroll people into things in your life. And so it's like simply sharing, I'd really like this, and here's the impact when it works and the impact when it doesn't. So how could we, create workability together to get this end result that works for both of us and leaves us both feeling good? And so when we can really lean into that place of enrolling people into our lives and to our needs with workability and leaving them with an impression of increase, and also from an authentic place for ourselves, which is something you've mentioned before, like really so that we feel fulfilled and authentic and that our needs are met. Our life changes, our business changes. Because I think for a lot of us, when you were a child, you were reprimanded, probably often over and over again for expressing your needs and wants. No, you can't have that. No, not now, right? Over and over again. And so an actual belief is probably it's not safe to express yourself. And no class in schools that I went to was like, here's how you communicate. Here's your communication lesson. And that's something that's a fundamental skill that we're just not taught. So when we can look at things holistically, mind, body, and heart, hitting that soul and spirit. And to me, spirit is our connection to source, the creator of all that is, to the energetic field, to the, that's physics, to our quantum field that we're all connected to. And then our soul, like what sets our soul on fire and living a happy and fulfilled life. And when we can own the mind, so owning those thought habits, own the body. What habits are we doing that are making us feel good and taking away from our quality of life? And when we can come from a heart-centered place and truly live in a place of an impression of increase for ourselves and others, our life can be so much more happy and fulfilled. And for me, that is my true wish for everyone I work with, that we're all just more happy, healthy, wealthier, and live a more fulfilled life. And this true holistic approach I truly believe, is the only way to do it. It's like they're all connected. And if we miss one, they fall. It just simply doesn't work. And so when I was studying, everyone was like, oh, you need to just go study as a physio or just nutrition or just spirit. And I was like, but we're not just spirit, and we're not just the body. And we also have this mind that seems to run us. And then we have this soul that's inside. So behind all those thoughts of that mind, there's a voice, right? There's our higher self. And when we can truly treat ourselves like a whole, that's when we get to live an optimal performance and life by design and truly live a life that leaves us fulfilled.
Yeah.
I love that.
I really love, like, the part that you said about really, like that, what sets your soul on fire, like what brings us passion and rejuvenation. Because, so often we just, live day to day, and we don't really jump on that calling of what fills our heart with joy, because it's so freaking scary.
Yeah. And so let's step out of the fear and step into possibility and truly learn to own our habits in each area of our life holistically. So where can people learn more about you and connect with you so that they can do such a thing?
Yeah, we are on Facebook at Peak Performance Tribe and Instagram at Suzanna and Cortney. And our website is peak-performancecoaching.ca.
Absolutely. You guys can grab that link there above and make sure you check them out. And what would be your last piece of advice for our audience today? Put you on the spot.
That's such a great question.
I would say that if you're feeling like you're in pain, you're sick, you're tired, that it's a really, really normal and common thing. And that, there are different strategies that we can use to really, like, understand those needs, like those universal needs that are behind that disconnect, and first learn how to connect with ourselves, connect with our bodies, and create those purpose-driven goals that are founded in our needs instead of in an outcome and a result.
Beautiful.
Yeah, mic drop. Absolutely.
So
I love
cool.
it. Amazing. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Just a reminder to the audience, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and what is the best that can happen? Thank you.
Thanks